AtkinsRealis is actually involved in both sides of that equation. So we are helping take the existing fleet, the existing assets, and do life extensions for continued use. We're adding 35 years to each of the reactors that we have built over the last 70 years. Canada has built 35 reactors called CANDU reactors. We are in the middle of rebuilds at Darlington, at Bruce Power, at Pickering, and Cernavoda, Romania, Qinshen, China, and Wolsong, South Korea. So we are part of the taking the existing asset base, the legacy asset base, and extending its life. Just as important, we're also gearing up for a new cycle of rebuilds. So the CANDU technology is a technology that AtkinsRealis is the exclusive IP holder or the exclusive OEM steward of that technology. And we're working with utilities around the world, not only in Canada, but in Eastern Europe, in the ASEAN countries, in the United States, to actually bring new CANDUs online, so new builds. The opportunities are enormous. I think, as everyone knows, energy demand has shifted way right. A lot of it is driven by the replacement of fossil fuel in our kind of base loads that are used around the world for electricity generation. And we have the hyperscalers and data centers that are actually adding significant demand that didn't exist before. All of that is also being amplified by population growth in jurisdictions around the world. All of it means that today there are 425 nuclear power stations producing electricity around the world, somewhere around 8 to 10% of the world's electricity from nuclear. Nuclear is trying to replace the fossil base load we have in place today and also address the increasing demand, which is increasing at an increasing rate. It means about 1,000 to 1,200 new full gigawatt scale nuclear power stations that need to be built by 2050. I think, as everyone knows, at COP38 in Dubai, actually 38 countries made pledges to triple their nuclear output. So all of this is being coordinated not only by the utilities that produce the electricity, it's also being driven by governments around the world. AtkinsRealis is supporting nuclear in many ways. We have the OEM, we're the OEM for the CANDU technology, which is the indigenous technology created by Canada starting in 1950. And what that means is we provide the reactor proper and all of its components, and we service those machines to keep them operating at full capacity. So in that regard, we're an OEM. But another big part of our business is supporting other OEMs. An OEM is someone that owns technology, and in the nuclear business, a technology for reactor purposes, for thermal output, to create steam to turn a steam turbine, to create electricity through a generator. So although we have our own technology, we support SMR programs around the world, and we also support fusion programs and propulsion programs with just engineering design. The detailed engineering required to verify and validate these assets for the safe use and licensing, and then to actually build the asset in the field. So our contribution and our focus is twofold: to actually bring our technology into the marketplace and also support a whole host of other technologies, some that are alternatives to our technology. So from an engineering standpoint, these objectives are very synergistic, and we believe that our offering is very valuable to the marketplace, not only to ourselves, to our customers and to the ratepayers, but also to other OEMs that are trying to create technology, obviously, to address the increasing demand we see in the world today. The first place we see opportunity is obviously at home. And Canada has around 20 operating nuclear power plants in its country today, with a aspiration to build as many as 20 more. So we are working actively in support of Canada with its own indigenous technology to bring those new assets into the marketplace. From an export standpoint, we've done a lot of market analysis with our technology and those countries that would be interested in our value proposition. Right now, we believe there is great opportunity for our product in Eastern Europe. So we're currently working in Cernavoda, Romania, There's already 2 CANDOs there, and we're under contract to build 2 more. We're working with the Polish government and the Polish utilities to bring CANDO into Poland. We're also working with the Turkish government, who have 4 Rosatom reactors under construction today, but they, just like everyone else, need more, and we're working with them to possibly bring CANDOs to Turkey. Another area that we're focused on that we think is really interesting for our product is the ASEAN region. So there are 8 or 9 countries that make up the ASEAN countries. We call them the Asian Tigers, and we are talking with 5 or 6 of them right now. They're new. They don't have nuclear reactors or nuclear assets in their country, so we're helping them establish regulators, understand what the dynamics are, and helping them choose the technology, big versus small, and if they choose big, what are the big options that they have, and what option fits them best, and how do you get these assets to market through a final investment decision and financial package. The last region that we're really looking at is the United States. So the United States has great OEMs, great technology. Westinghouse has the AP1000. There's a lot of SMRs like GE Hitachi and X Energy and the Natrium reactor that's being built in Wyoming that are coming to market. But what's interesting about the United States is they have about 97 reactors in service today, with an aspiration, a stated aspiration by the Trump administration to triple that by 2050. And there's going to be so much work, and we believe saturation, that a CANDO technology from Canada fits nicely into the United States as to address the increasing demand when you have a limited supply, and also to address hyperscaler demand. So the 3 primary regions we're looking at right now from an export market: Eastern Europe, the ASEAN countries, and the United States. Innovation is an important part of the nuclear offering. What we've done is the assets that are in Canada have recently gone through and continue to go through a life extension program. So that's existing assets that are end of life. Rather than decommission those assets, how do you rebuild them to give them another 35 years of life? When we rebuild those assets, life extend them, we're also taking the opportunity to include betterments. So innovation along the way that causes output to go up, reliability to increase, and safety to improve. So innovation is what we do every day. When we're talking about new builds, how do we take those products that are tried, true, and proven and really eliminate, to the best of our ability, first-of-a-kind risk? If you look at a fission reactor, that technology, that calculus was solved a long time ago. It's how do you make it more reliable, and how do you make it more safe, and how do you increase the thermal output? So we are taking the products we have, and we're taking the innovation that we've discovered along the way through use of those assets. We're putting those innovations into the product, and those innovations are proven, demonstrated in the field, which accelerates the timelines for licensing and also mitigates or reduces the risk associated with first-of-a-kind. So it's a delicate balance. You want to have innovation, and you want to constantly be pushing these assets, this technology, to the next level and bringing in modern day techniques and technologies into those assets. But at the same time, you don't want to create first-of-a-kind risk that typically causes costs to go up and schedule to go out. So we're addressing both of them. We're still innovating, but we're also mindful that first-of-a-kind risk is something that all utilities, customers, and governments avoid, because the consequences are significant, not only from a cost perspective, but from an industry credibility perspective as well.